it's the right decision. You know, those that watch the channel have heard me say this before. But I'm probably slightly surprised after the West Ham game, because, you know, really they've gone away and got a draw at West Ham. Sorry, they would have got a draw away at West Ham if it wasn't for like the worst VAR intervention for a penalty that you've ever seen. So there was like a huge sense of injustice there from that loss to West Ham. So I did think, oh, this won't be the one. He survived another game here, but they went for it and they've sacked him, which, you know, frankly I'm pleased about. I'm pleased. 14th after 9 games is mental. This is the worst it's ever been at Man United since Fergie left. There's no denying that. And after a 200 million summer spent, it's bad, guys, isn't it? It's bad. This really bad. And then on to Amorim. So here's my take, first of all, on the process a little bit. So sacking Ten Hag on Monday. By the afternoon, you've then got reports of Amorim. So Man United have approached Amorim weeks ago, you would think, potentially in the last international break. That's probably where I'd be thinking after the Man United Ineos Exco meeting in London during the last international break. They've said this is only going one way. We need to sign somebody out for when we sack him, and they've done their due diligence and they've gone for Amorim. Hence, I think that the deal's pretty much already done. I think that we would expect to see Amorim in or announced probably by Monday. I'm speaking to you on Wednesday the 30th. This video should come out probably today. I would say by Monday Amorim will be in. So they've approached him a while back for sure. Apologies if you can hear my washing machine. And then on to Amorim himself, right? So okay, I'm gonna do a bit of like post-Fergie context, background ramble, because it will make sense when I kind of then tell you what I think about Amorim. Fergie goes, and then we bring in Fergie's hand-picked successor, David Moyes. Goes spectacularly wrong. The talk afterwards was that he didn't have the credentials, he'd never really won anything. We shouldn't have gone with Fergie's hand-picked successor. So we then pivot completely to Louis van Gaal, legend of the game, won all sorts. Now bear in mind, and timing is always important with this, bear in mind that when we brought in Louis van Gaal, at that time he was one of the most successful coaches ever in terms of what he'd won. Got his own system, a proper coach from the Johan Cruyff mould. Wins the FA Cup, but doesn't go well, gets sacked. The criticism afterwards was that he's a bit of a dinosaur, didn't treat the players well, and maybe his methods are a bit outdated. Okay, so then we go to Mourinho. Won loads in England, got the stature, personality-wise, to take on the Man United job. He's a coach, been really successful tactically. I think in hindsight, when you look back now, Mourinho is definitely the most successful post-Fergie manager. Definitely. Won the FA Cup, won the Europa League. Highest percentage of wins of any Man United manager. everyone's so deflated. We need somebody that knows the club, because none of the managers post Fergie knew the club. You've got a Man United guy, a great guy, can mould the dressing room together like Southgate has done with England, right? And that went well for a while. Doesn't work out. He goes, what did they say? He didn't have the statures, not won anything. He was tactically inept. So then we go for Ten Hag, who is something different to all of them. He's younger profile. He's a winner, has won things, but he's at the forefront of modern tactical thinking and trends. Probably something we hadn't had with any of the previous managers. Ten Hag has now been sacked, and that hasn't worked out. And I guess it remains to be seen, really, what the overall legacy criticism will be for him. Probably that he's not been able to instill a tactical blueprint, despite being a modern tactical great thinker by all accounts. The point of me saying all that is, okay, so we're on the cusp of, it seems, bringing in Ruben Amorim. And what do we, what's Amorim lauded as? He's won stuff. We've had winners already. He is a young up-and-coming coach. We've had that with Ole, and you could, Ten Hag's a bit older, but same sort of mould. He is at the forefront of modern tactical thinking. Well, we've had that with the last manager. Amorim, when you look at him, and compared to all the previous managers, he's most similar to Ten Hag, you would probably have to say. In terms of his reputation, what's in the pro column for him is Ten Hag-esque. So what's different? There's nothing really, I don't think, that you can hang your hat on and say, it'll be different this time because he offers us this. There is one thing, and I'll get to that shortly, but overall, not really. Having said that, for me, you always have to get behind the next manager that comes in. That's what being a football fan's about, right? That's what it's all about. So, if we get Amorim, which it looks like we will, he has my, explicit trust and optimism and backing until he loses that trust. So, just like all the rest, I'll get behind him. I'll be an eternal optimist. I think that he needs time. He absolutely needs time. The expectations now need to be lower for him than they have been for any Man United manager. For me, I'd be saying the rest of this season, just get us in the top 10. The season after that, be fighting for the Europa League spot, so 5th, 6th, 7th. And then the third season, be challenging to get into the Champions League top 4. That's what I would want his expectations to be, personally. To give him that time to build. So whilst on the face of it, there's nothing that fills me with this great hope of, oh my God, it's gonna be different this time, he's the great saviour. Could I see this going spectacularly wrong? Absolutely. But he has my full backing completely, and that's the way it should be. That's the way it should be. Now, the one thing that I do expect actually to be different is he's had one tactical system really his whole career, which has been this kind of 3-4-3 or more 3-4-2-1. That's been his tactical system from the get-go. I don't actually expect him to suddenly deviate from that with Man United. I expect that he will go with that. I would actually go as far to say I would be quite surprised if he doesn't. If he goes for a back four, I'd be surprised. And we haven't had that. Now, I'm really at odds with this. And actually in the last 6. You then have the two wing backs, so the build-up goes 3, 4, and then you've got a 2 in front of that, which is one of the number 10s and one of the number 6s that has moved forward into that 10 position, and then you've got one of the number 10s that's moved alongside the striker and the striker. So it's 3, 4, 2, 2 in the build-up. Very press resistant. Very, very press resistant. Creates a lot of overloads. One of the things that from his tactical thinking would excite me the most is we really struggle to play through the lines. Ten Hag never grabbed that. We have actually ironically looked slightly better at that this season, but with that setup, you would think we've got a lot more overloads there. So that seems good. That seems quite good. And then the players themselves, then Lisandro Martinez is made for a left-sided back 3. Absolutely made for it. De Ligt is probably that he would relish, I think, the central centre-back role. He's also played a little bit for Ajax in midfield, so him moving into midfield there would work. He's not the quickest either. He's a little bit quicker than Harry Maguire, but he's not the quickest. Being in the central position helps him with that. Lenny Yoro would be absolutely ideal for a right-sided centre-back. His pace, his recovery pace, both him and Leach also like to spring forward in the press. That's what your outside centre-backs in a 3 do as well, with your central one being almost like a sweeper. So it feels for our first choice 3 centre-backs pretty ideal, the back 3. You could then have Luke Shaw as a backup left-sided, or potentially Johnny Evans there. Harry Maguire as the backup to Ligt in the middle. Absolutely ideal for him playing in the middle there at this stage of his career. Probably Lindelof as the right-sided backup to Yoro. That all works for me. That all works for me. Right wing back, you would have Dallo, who I think would really relish that role. Whipping balls in from the wide. I could see that working for him. Mazraoui also in that role as a backup right-sided. That would really work for me. You've also then got any of your wingers that could fill in that space. I personally wouldn't like to see that, but they could. Left-sided wing back is where I think some of the problems could come in. If Luke Shaw's fit, I think he could play there. There's a lot of talk, people saying that he couldn't play there. I think he could play there quite well actually. Malacia potentially, and then there's also talk that he might look to go with Garnacho in there to get him in the team. Kind of one of your wing backs, a lot more attacking, one less attacking. You know, maybe that'll work. You've got that kind of coverage with a back 3, so maybe you might go with that in certain games. You've got flexibility there though. You've got flexibility. Hell, even Rashford maybe in the odd game. But I would like to see Luke Shaw in there with Dallo. They're maybe my first choices. I think you've got a lot of balance there. Number 6, Ugarte. I mean, he played in this system for Amorim. That's what got him his big move to PSG, and he was nuts. So thank goodness. Yeah, that'd be absolutely ideal. And maybe that was part of the thinking of getting Ugarte. Maybe already they were future-proofing. You know, maybe fair play to Ineos on that one. Maybe they were thinking, well, if we do get rid of Ten Hag and we bring Amorim in, that'd be ideal. He then goes with like a number 8, who kind of moves forward, crashing the box. There's a couple of options here for me. Mainu, of course. Mainu. Or he may choose to go with Fernandes in there. Maybe. But that gives you 2 great options for the 8. Both Fernandes and Mainu. This is where the squad starts having real problems for me. Casemiro cannot play a 6 in Amorim's system. He just doesn't have the legs. And the 6 in this system covers so much ground. Casemiro can't survive beyond next summer for me. Eriksen also would be a huge concern. we'll probably have to survive this season. Hence, I think just get in the top 10, move Ericsson on, move Casemiro on next season, get a backup for Ugarte, maybe bring in another number 8 next summer. Then you've got the 10s, so Rashford tucked in. He'd certainly get more shots off. Also, if he's the one of the 10s that moves alongside, Højlund would have more chance to run in behind. So through balls in for him, this could work to his advantage quite well actually. The more I think about it, and I like it, so that could work. Bruno probably for now is the right-sided 10, but you could foresee Garnacho playing that left-sided 10 Rashford role. I could also see Ahmad in that right-sided role. I don't think he's a winger at all. I never have done. I think his great strengths are his shooting, kind of in and around the box, little 1-2s. His passing is good, so I think he'd be ideal in that role actually. Left-sided inverted 10 on the right, that'd be ideal for him. And then obviously Højlund as the 9 or Xerxes. Xerxes could play in one of these 2 10 roles as well. So it does work for the existing squad that we've got, I think. Obviously that will need to develop over time, but there is promise there for this system. Could it go absolutely cataclysmically wrong? We've seen it for the last decade. Yes, it could, but hey, I've got to be optimistic, right? And so have all Man United fans. Guys, if you're a Man United fan, you're not a Man United fan. If there's any sporting fans out there,